The year is 1990X, and we're here to talk about why Onett sucks, using this map as the basis. What are my complaints? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's get started. Let's start with the cars. There are cars, but where do they come from? There's no road in and out of town, it's just a path. Are we to assume that these vehicles navigated these paths off-road, or that there is a factory where the cars are built here? If there's a factory, no building seems to meet that description on the map. I see no issue with local businesses because there are plenty of buildings that can serve as office spaces, and we have local arcades, fast food places, drugstores, bakeries, you name it. There's a library, but there doesn't seem to be a school anywhere. Where do these kids go to get educated? We also have a town hall too, or a city hall, depending on who you talk to. Having a town hall is fairly practical and looks about like what you might expect out of an American-style architecture. Maybe a bit over the top for a town hall or a city hall, but hey, who's counting? There's a hospital too, and thank God, because apparently the rowdy mice in the area are quite aggressive with their smash attacks. Where would you go for care otherwise? There are some remote residences, like the coastal property that is available for sale for a measly $7,500 on the west side of town. Liar Exaggerates House, which is the highest in town, nested at the top of the hill. Makes sense if you're a recluse, I guess. There are several off the main streets a little bit, including those apartment buildings in the northwest part of town. And finally, Nessa's house and the Minch's house well off the beaten path in the northeast side of town. Outside of Onett proper, on the way to Tucson, there is a small dwelling which is infested with mice, so that's worth mentioning too. I suppose my biggest issue with how the town is set up is the lack of car access. Why could this be? Is it because maybe once, long ago, there were roads in and out of town, and they have since switched to a different type of society where trade between neighboring towns isn't as necessary as it once was, at least in Onett's case? Is this perhaps a new frontier town recently established and awaiting further industrialization in the form of highways and interconnectedness? But that does and doesn't make sense to me because of the lack of some key buildings and features in the town discussed earlier. I don't know, what's your theory on the matter? Seriously, let me know because I'm actually really interested. There are some cultural landmarks in Onett, but this bears a small bit of discussion too. Giant Step is located in the northwest part of town and is supposedly a famous landmark. There is a locked structure that is barring access to this landmark, and that's where things get needlessly complicated as far as access and lodgings are concerned. The Traveling Entertainer's Shack is the rundown structure barring access, and first off, why in the name of God do the traveling entertainers need to be put up here and not in the hotel in town? Is it because they're poor? Is it because the town refuses to pay their lodgings? Where are they performing? There's no theater or anything in town that I can make out. That just doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, and the mayor is the only one who has the key? No way. And if that's not weird enough for you, what is up with all the signs around Onett? I know they mention again and again in-game that the signs are part of what make Onett famous, with the other half of that equation being discussed immediately after this, but is there any actual reason being given for why there are so damn many of these fucking signs? Are they going for a record? I think they are based on what this NPC says. What the hell is their problem anyway? Don't even get me started on the roadblocks and the police. Onett, your response to literally any crisis is to put up roadblocks all over the damn place. Why? Who knows? How the hell would that help in the majority of situations? And claiming that the road to Tucson is blocked due to an emergency? What fucking emergency would require that? You get to Tucson later, and things are just as peaceful as they are in Onett. Some emergency. You know what this is? Onett is an example of a police state, something that got completely out of hand. You want to know how I know? Well, for one, the cops are in charge of putting down gang violence, and they're doing a terrible job of it, with many townspeople even implying that they are content to deal with the sharks long enough to keep their jobs, but not enough to quell them entirely, probably for fear of being put out of work. A lot of people aren't satisfied with the police performance in this town in the least. Next, again, are the roadblocks. Why the hell are they needed? This is a pointless flex meant to illustrate that they have total control. And with respect to the meteorite at the beginning of the game, don't even give me that shit. Don't tell me they blocked off the entire road to the meteorite, did a detailed investigation, and then just simply left it alone as if nothing happened in the first place. Why? Why the hell even bother to begin with? You know why. Please state, hello? And finally, worst of all, police brutality and the fact that they are omnipresent in this town. The police are literally fucking everywhere in this town. Like here, and here, and here, and for some reason even here. And you tell me if it's okay for the police to start beating up on a little kid because he wants the road to Tucson opened. They should not be attacking their own citizens, period. Furthermore, you gain access to Tucson for beating the police in like a weird martial arts competition or something? That's just some straight up gladiatorial bullshit. There's no law and order in this fucking town. Mayor Perkle, I see your signs all over the place, clamoring for re-election, painting yourself as a nice, kind-hearted mayor. You've mismanaged this town to a terrible degree for all the problems that we've just discussed, and your lack of desire to be held accountable for anything that happens in your town is utterly disgraceful. You want to put your signs all over town in a propaganda, police state flex? Well, fuck you. I'm not voting for you, and I'm done with your shit. See you at the next election, fucker.